All right, guys, got my man Rick Lewis, Randall Clark here. Let's talk about some boys' private schools. Rick, are you ready? Tell me about the private school state rankings on the boys' side.
Ready for the season to start. I think basically Christ School is defending state champion. I think they're the favorite to win it again. And of course, the Burlington School has had a quite little run, and they just keep reloading every year. So I think the first two, I think as far as the 4A and the 2A, I think they're favored to win the state championship in their respective class. Cannon has Austin Sports, and I think he can help lead Cannon to a competitive, and it could be one of the teams that would be favored to play Christ School for the state championship.
Mm, mm.
Ron Johnson has done a really good job at Providence Day in the 4A, and then my favorite to win the 3A is Gaston Christian.
Oh,
Chris
Chris
Duhon
Duhon.
has done a remarkable job over there at Gaston Christian. I think it's going to be their turn this year at the 3A level.
Wow, that's pretty. That's very, very, very impressive that he can come in and do that. Let's take a look at Rick the 1A, 2A rankings for the boys. Let's start on the 2A side. You got Drake Powell and Northwood at number one.
Well, the 2A is absolutely loaded. I think you can look at really the top four teams that could be legitimate, contenders for the state championship. But, Northwood was in the 3A last year. They were runner up to Central Cabarrus. And of course, they dropped down to 2A. You have a consensus top 10 player in the country and Drake Powell, who's committed to UNC. And then with Reidsville, you got the two super sophomores who are also phenomenal. Football players. And then, of course, Farmville Central is going to be Farmville Central. And then Salisbury has Jaden Jute Harris. So I think those would be the four that would be the favorites in the 2A.
But tell me
In
about
the
the 1A.
1A,
You got Wilson Prep at number one in the 1A. Are they going to just kind of sweep to it again? And they won like the last 37 in a row?
uh, they're the heavy favorite. They've done a remarkable job. Coach Atkinson's done a good job down there. They've won, the state championship. I think, in the West, you have Bishop McGinnis. It's a strong team each and every season. And then I think Thomasville could be an up and coming team. And then, of course, Bertie would be the other team from the East that could challenge Wilson Prep for a state title.
So it's Wilson Prep and everybody else, but you just don't want to say it like that.
Well, they're the heavy favorite.
You heard that, Randall. He didn't really want to say it.
Yeah, he didn't want to go out there and just put it out there like that.
All right, let's talk about the big boys. Let's talk about the 4A and the 3A. You got three Charlotte teams, one, two, and three, and another one at five. Is this another one of those years for the Mecklenburg County area?
I tell you what, the 4A is absolutely loaded in the western part of the state with Myers Park defending state champions. I mean, what other public school team can say they have three high major prospects on their roster? You have Boswell that's going to Tennessee, Sir Muhammad going to Notre Dame. Sadiq White is a consensus top 20 player, and they also have another Division One prospect on their lineup as Ashton King. So, you know, on paper they're going to be the heavy favorite. Now with North Mecklenburg, they have Isaiah Evans going to Duke. If there's one player who can carry a team
Mm-hmm.
the state championship, it is Isaiah Evans. He's one of these guys that can put up 50 points any game and will be one of the toughest defenders in the state of North Carolina.
Randall, who's the biggest threat to stop Myers Park from being the first Charlotte Mecklenburg team to repeat in about 30 years?
I think North Met. I think where Isaiah Evans can score from on the floor and get into his spots and really just being able to fill up the basket. I think that's the biggest threat to me. Um, I'm really he's got a little bit of help this year with Chandler coming over there, so it's going to be interesting. Hopefully we get to see that matchup again in the finals, in the
Yes,
semifinals. Sorry.
and we got Central Cabarrus on the other side. They were unbeaten. Rick, I think you view Central Cabarrus as the heavy, heavy favorite in that classification as well, correct?
I'm going to go with Central Cabarrus, who was my favorite last year. They The remarkable thing about Central Cabarrus, they've won over 60 games in the last 2 years. Go ahead and
Mm.
mark it down. They're going to win 90 games over the last 3 years. One thing about Coach Baker's done a remarkable job, and here's an interesting stat with the Carson twins. You got Carson and Chase.
Yeah,
They are so talented, and here's the thing about it: they just win. If you look at their high school team, they win. If you
yeah.
look at their travel ball team, they beat all the shoe company teams during the course of the season. They won there. They won the Hoop State Fall League Championship once again. And what was even more remarkable, now we did put the Daniel twins on the same team at the top 80, but they also won the championship at the top 80. So here's two young men. All they do is win, and they just play a unusual game of basketball that it's fun to watch. And I think they're going to be the heavy favorite.
All right, lightning round. Boys preseason All State team. Randall, did Rick get it right?
I like this team a lot. I think another team that's very well balanced. A lot of scoring. We talked about a lot of these guys. I think Paul McNeil is the guy who we didn't mention so far tonight. A kid that can really score the basketball. Really was really good last year, getting downhill and back again for a Richmond senior team that hopes to make another championship run.
Yeah, well, it's going to be another fun season, boys basketball. I'm excited to have you two guys come on and talk about it. We're going to start the show after January, so after Christmas, you guys get the batteries revved up. Are you excited, Rick, to come on and talk some hoops every week?
Oh, I'm excited. This is my favorite time of year.
All right, fellas. Thanks a lot.